Is anybody out there? Anybody?
We are College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Today we're continuing our series on casual and complementary prepping, and today we're asking the question, or trying to answer the question, of why do people believe in conspiracy theories? As preppers, we need to understand the psychology behind conspiracy theories. But before I go on with that, I would like to say that this video is going to resonate differently with those in the prepper community. Some are going to accept it, some are going to deny it, some are going to say I'm full of crap. That's okay. These are only my views and totally up to you what you believe. I'm just going to put out there what my views are. First thing we have to do is define a conspiracy theory. Well, if we define it, a conspiracy theory can be defined as the belief that there are groups that meet in secret to plan and carry out goals or actions with malevolent intent. Okay? Big Brother's watching. They're out to get me. Okay? That's what a conspiracy theory is. So let's look at how people react to those. Conspiracy theories are nothing new in society, but lately they've really come on and become more mainstream than they have in the past. And my question is, why? Well, if we try and answer that, first off, there are a group of conspiracy theorists, entrepreneurs out there. People who sell conspiracy theories for their own purposes. They either have a political intent, or they have a way of making money, selling medicines and different things. They also have other intents to disrupt business, or there's a whole bunch of reasons why they do that. But they're entrepreneurs, whether they're getting views on the internet or whatever, they're making money or profiting in some way off of their conspiracy theories. The second is there are a lot of disenfranchised people out there. Okay, and I'm going to talk about this a lot more during the video. There are a lot of disenfranchised people living within 300% of the poverty level. So we're going to talk about that a little later in the video. And thirdly, even our educational television channels, some of them that have been educational for years, have gone to a reality TV type perspective, talking about things like cryptozoology, which is not a college degree, just saying. Cryptozoology, alien encounters, and okay, so even our media has latched on to people's desire for conspiracy theories. Now, why have they done that? Well, obviously there's an audience for it. Okay, there's an audience for it. That's why they do that stuff. If there was no audience, they wouldn't do it. So let's look at why. Again, this video is about why do people believe in conspiracy theories. Before we get too far, I've got a couple of pet peeve conspiracy theories, and you can take them for what you want. First one is we're going to terraform Mars so that the wealthy people can go and just leave everybody else. Well, first off, if we had the technology, the resources, and the manpower to terraform Mars, we could fix this planet that we're already on. Okay? That one's debunked right there. Boom. The second one is that aliens are working with the government to control our population. light speed is the cop on the universe. Okay? You're not breaking light speed, just the way it is. So if we look at that and we consider the light speed barrier, any alien that comes here will not be benevolent. Okay? They will have come in a multi-generational ship. They got here from a long distance. When they get to the planet, they're going to need resources. They're going to have advanced technology, way advanced of ours. They're going to not ask because they can't afford us to say no. They're going to take what they want. Does that make sense? Aliens have not been here yet, but they might. Be a terrible waste of space if there aren't other life forms in the universe. There are a couple of psychological reasons why people move toward these conspiracy theories. Now, even I'm not immune to that, okay? I have my own psychological id and ego, so I'm not immune to thinking about these conspiracy theories. Based on my social leanings, my political leanings, okay? Everybody's got that, and there's that tendency. But a short research, not just a YouTube video, okay? Short research on real scientific things can show you very quickly that that's not a thing. But you have to have an open mind to be willing to agree with things that are outside what you believe personally. Your personal beliefs, you have to set those aside as much as possible in order to get past these conspiracy theories. Let's start with the first one. Machiavellianism. Now, Machiavellianism is a personality trait where a person will do whatever they want to or whatever they can to make their situation better. In other words, an example, the conspiracy theory entrepreneurs fall in this category. They're after a few things. They're after money. They might be after building a following. They might be after views. They might be after political purposes. There are a whole lot of reasons why these conspiracy theory entrepreneurs are there, but they're all Machiavellian in nature. Now, some people want to have social acceptance. They want to feel like they're a part of a group, and that helps them fall into these conspiracy theory type attitudes. It helps them feel like they know something, either socially or educationally more than somebody else knows. And they fall into the trap of these conspiracy theories allowing them to know something that nobody else knows and that they can use to become leaders in their community. They're not doing it maliciously. It's just their need for social acceptance within a community of types. You could consider it a herd mentality. Without the herd, you're just not going to prosper. Well, humans are herd animals. We've always hung in groups, in ideological groups, in family groups. We've always hung in groups. So some people have that need to be part of a group, and even though they might be socially isolated loners, as long as they fall in that same category as believing the same conspiracy theory type thinking, then they can feel like they're a part of a group. Denialism. Denialism is that idea that authority is not out for your best interests. A lot of preppers are denialists. They don't want to believe that the government has anything good for them, and they might be right. They might not be right. I don't know. but you have to take each conspiracy theory on its own and look at it and then see if there's actual evidence to back it up. And we'll expound on that more in a few minutes. Existentialism. Existentialism is the idea that people want to be safe. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. People need safety and security. They need to not be anxious. They need to not be worried about their security, their well-being, their financial security, those types of things. So when people have an existential crisis like's going on now in the COVID-19, people just not sure what's going to happen with their job, with their income, can they meet their house payment, all those things, that causes them to have an existential crisis, and that makes them more susceptible to believing that something outside of their range of control is controlling their destiny, and they feel powerless and helpless. Let's expand on that existentialist idea. The pandemic has only magnified what's going on, but this existentialist ideal has been going on for quite a while, especially when it comes to low-wage earners. And let's talk about that for a second. Workers in the bottom 50% have seen their wages stagnate over the last few years. Okay, they're not able to move forward. They have little chance for advancement. Wages have not gone up in the past 10 or 12 years, so they're having a hard time maintaining against inflation. For example, the median income for a family of 4 right now sits at $63,179. Well, that's not from a single earner. Most families now of 4, you have 2 earners in order to get to this $63,179 mark. Retirement community is the median income, and when I use median, the reason I use median is because 50% of the people are above the median and 50% are below. That's exactly the halfway point as far as the number of people in the country. Now, if I used average, because the upper group of people have so much income, as a matter of fact, the top 10% have 95% of the income. So if I added those into that and said the average, it would make the average income look way up here, when in reality 50% of the people are way below the average. So let's look at that and see how that fits in to the existential portion. Well, one of the things we have to do is we have to talk about poverty. The poverty level in the United States is looked at in this way. When we look at poverty, people who are below a certain income level are considered impoverished. If we go up 200%, those people are just barely impoverished. And then we go up to 300%, which is what we look at for most government programs. 300% of the poverty level means that those people should be financially secure. Okay? Those above 300% of the poverty level should be financially secure. Those below 300% of the poverty level are struggling. And those at the bottom are really struggling. So let's look at that for a minute. The poverty level for a family of 4 is $26,200. Now, 300% of that, all you have to do is multiply it by 3. That's $78,600. Well, the median income was $63,179. 50% of the population makes less than 300% of the poverty level. Or in other words, actually 69% of the population are within 300% of the poverty level, meaning that their income, they're not financially secure. 69% of the population. That is a hell of a lot of uncertainty. Okay? So why would those people, why would they ever be existential and worried about what's going on and whether or not they're powerless? You tell me. That's a big deal. Let's look at the retirement community. There are two people in the home, average, man and wife. They're retired. Their average income is $43,600, or their median income. I don't use average. Median income is $43,696 a year. Median. Well, for two people, the poverty level is $17,240. Well, if you look at that and you think about it, $17,240 times 3 is $51,720. So again, 50% of the retired population only makes $43,696. So they're within 300% of the poverty level. As a matter of fact, 67% of all seniors above the age of 60 are within 300% of the poverty level, meaning that they are not financially secure. As a matter of fact, somewhere in the neighborhood of 68.4% of the population of the United States could not come up with $400 cash in case of an emergency. That is one of the scariest statistics on the planet. And if you don't think that's uncertainty, something's wrong. There's also another divide. The average college student who graduates and has 10 years of experience is out of that 300%. Okay? They're out. They're above that. So they're above that 69%, 68.4% level. Okay? They're up there where they're financially secure after 10 years. Most college graduates start out low, and it takes them a long time to build up. But what other people see, they see that. But the pandemic has multiplied it. How's the pandemic multiplied it? Well, like this. Work at home. College graduates who work in business typically have jobs that they're have more ability to do at-home work. Non-college graduates, on the other hand, only about 10% of the population of those with a job can stay at home and work. Hence, the bulk of the layoffs are for employees below that, in that 68.4% group that's in the lower part where they're not financially secure, where they have to be worried about whether they can make the car payment, the house payment, whether the rent they can make it this month and still eat. They're worried about that. But they see these other people that aren't worried about it. So then they compare it to our government. Well, of our elected leaders, and by the way, they're not our leaders. Okay? They might be our elected officials, but they're not our leaders. They're our employees. They are all, 95% of them are college graduates. So people in that lower 69% see those and they equate the two things and they say, oh, wait a minute. How is it that they get to do and they tell us we can't? And immediately they start to mistrust educated officials. They mistrust the people from the CDC. They mistrust, anybody associated with government because they're not attending to their needs. Let me say that again. They mistrust anything about government because they're not attending to their needs. Well, that leads to denialism. So they come up with terms like fake news when they when they hear things that are outside of their reality. They say, that's fake news and I'm just not even going to worry about it. So they deny actual science in order to match where their reality is. The final reason is some people are just plain paranoid. They think everybody's out to get them. They have tendencies to be social loners. They hide out. They don't want to speak to anybody. They don't want to have anything to do with anybody. They think that everybody wants something from them or wants to take something from them. And those people have a real tendency to buy into all the conspiracy theories, especially the ones that fit their narrative and their personal reality. Now, what's the takeaway from this? Well, in this country, we have some major obstacles to overcome, especially if we want to overcome the conspiracy theories that are out there. Conspiracy theories are rampant. They've always been here, but social media has driven them to the point that everybody has access to the most current conspiracy theory, and it goes around the planet at light speed. Okay? You know, videos come out, even though they get shut down, they get 1 million views before they get shut down. So 1 million people have this conspiracy theory in their little head, and they can't make it go away. Our elected leaders are going to have to come to the realization that the bottom 68% of the population is financially insecure, and they're going to have to do something, or else people start to act on that insecurity. They start to believe conspiracy theories. They start to do dumb stuff. You know, desperate people do dumb things. Okay? So when you look at it, if we allow these conspiracy theories to consume us, we can't do rational thought. You have to have rational thought. Every conspiracy theory you see, you need to research and see if that has any sound evidence. Most of the time, the evidence is I believe. Okay, so don't get caught in that trap. Now, what does it mean to the prepper community? What do we need to do when you think about these things? Well, here's my advice. First off, pay attention to your preps and stay safe wherever you are. Stay out of the limelight if you can. Gray man is always a better proposition. Let me say that one more time. Gray man is always a better proposition. You're better off to stay out of the limelight. Pandemics happen in slow motion. In our time, if we consider this pandemic that is on us right now, and let's say the pandemic is just going to go for a week. All right, we're going to make the timeline be just a week long. If we think about it in those terms, starting at 12:01 a.m. Monday morning, we're only at 10 a.m. Monday morning. This thing has got a long way to go. Pay attention to your preps. Do what you have to do. Make sure that you're tending to what you can. Now, Crystal and I, there was a time in our life when we made $8 too much to get any help. We made $8 too much to get unemployment, or not unemployment, but to get food stamps, and $8 too much a month to get WIC. You know, there were times when our checkbook was $4.25 left to last us to the end of the month. I know about your financial insecurity. Trust me, I've been there, done that, don't want to do it again. But may come to that again. We don't know what the next year or year and a half is going to bring. But try and stay calm. Don't believe those conspiracy theories that come down the pike. And if you hear one that sounds very believable, research it before you jump on that bandwagon and share it to social media. Okay? This stuff grows exponentially like a virus when it's shared to social media without checking. We've still got to get to, on my analogy, we still got to get to 11:59 <laughs> 59 Sunday night. So, 11:59 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 with that as a thought, we've got a long way to go. Pray for us. We'll pray for you. And when it comes to your preps, please don't lose your humanity. You've got neighbors. You've got friends. Reach out. We're social distant, but reach out. Okay? Now, if you like this kind of stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself, prepping kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. If you hit the little bell, it'll notify you when we upload a video. And we upload every Sunday. So with that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing.